Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general-ish reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, who are born in the year of the Dragon. If there's any other combinations that you want, I've done another 6 already, but just comment down below and tell me. Now, this is a general reading for, basically for summer, eclipse season, retrograde season, the season before the astrology gets even crazier than what it's been recently. So, you know, there's a good thought, eh? So like with all my readings, what I would like you to do is ask a question beforehand. I'm not going to guarantee an answer because it's not a standard tarot spread. It's mainly oracle cards. There are some new decks that I'm working with, so I will be referring to books, and plus I'm using the I Ching, and I definitely need to refer to books there, especially since we have 2 I Ching cards come up for you, Taurus Dragon, and changing lines, that means. So, yeah, I need to look things up. So, take a moment, think about all the questions you've got around you at the moment, be aware of all of them. Choose one of them, focus on it. The focus gives energy to the reading process, and if I don't provide you with your answer, the universe will find a way to provide you with an answer. But hopefully it will come out of this reading. Now, a bit of housekeeping. As I said, Taurus Sun, Moon or Rising. Now, if you don't know what your Moon or Rising signs are, there's a link down below for getting a free birth chart. And you should always try and watch your Rising as well as your Sun. Solar even. Plus down there you'll find the link for the playlist for the Western and Chinese readings for the month, and a link to the Facebook group for this channel page, where I post obviously all these readings, and all the astrology videos that I'm watching and other readers, and well, it's just a general, oh, that's interesting, but mainly astrology and my readings and a few other readings and the odd documentary or 2, all sorts. So I think that's everything. Yes, this is a guidance reading. There's not really a past in this reading, although you can assume there is a present. So I suppose this is a take what resonates style reading. Basically, if it resonates, take the lot. If it doesn't resonate at all, then, well, it doesn't resonate, does it? You know, what's your Moon or your Rising sign with Dragon? I think that's everything. I think that's all the housekeeping. So let me bring the cards up and switch over to the big camera so you can see what I mean. There's numerous decks. Basically, I've just put the card on top of each deck. Now, the general gist of this reading, and I think I'm going to change cameras again so that you'll still be able to see the card. No, that side. Still be able to see the cards. Is stand back and watch while the world crumbles around you. Just make sure you're doing good deeds at the same time. Now, that probably sounds really ominous, and to be honest, it is. But it's also not, because you seem to be coming out lovely from it. The tarot here starts with the Death card, clarified by the Empress. So there is some change that is bringing fertility, bringing abundance to you. There's also, it's a very caring. I'm really feeling like the warmth and the love, the Venus aspect of the Empress card with this one, which I don't always get, because sometimes the Empress can be a little impassionate. But it's also with the Empress, who can represent Ceres or Demeter. There's the sense of cycles, and there's a sense of everything in its season. And the fact is that one season is coming to an end. We have this with the Akashic Tarot here, with the Spring and Autumn card, which is very much about, yeah, now's the time to act, but now's the time to plant or to harvest. So it's almost you are either setting plans or you are reaping from your plans, but gently. That's one thing that I want to say, because there's so much going on around you. Be aware that as the world is changing around you, this is the fledgling card from the Wisdom of the House of Knights. Now be aware that, how I might read it out actually, but be aware that as the situation keeps changing and keeps altering, then you don't know everything, and you don't know nearly as much as you used to know, because you used to know the previous environment and this is a new environment. It's almost like how I describe the Page of Pentacles card, the level upness. You're going to a new level, or if we want to think in like terms of some other game, you're going to a new realm. And I've gone blurry already. You're going to a new realm, or you're going to a new level, and therefore, no, you don't know the laws of the land anymore. It's time to learn all of that, and you have to. There is a warning about forging ahead too fast. Two of bees. So, which is Two of Swords, but I'm also drawn to the idea of how busy bees are, especially since it's clarified here by the Knight of Wands. So be careful that you don't end up being too busy to notice everything that's going on around you, because there is a huge risk of being blind to something here. Two of Swords, obviously, Two of Bees, but we have St. Paul. Now, St. Paul was my brain went blank for a second trying to remember. Is it St. Paul of Tarsus? So, anyway, he was the guy that was criticising the Christianity and the beliefs of Christianity, and what a load of nonsense, till he walked down the road and Jesus appeared to him saying, "Why are you persecuting me?" And then Jesus disappeared and St. Paul was blind until his eyes were miraculously healed by a Christian mystic. So this change that is going on all around you, and to a point, maybe I want to say devastation, but I don't want to say devastation. Sounds really, really severe. I think it's the sort of devastation that doesn't necessarily seem quite so devastating at the time, but then when you look back as all the effects have rolled on, it's like, oh my God, that was a really devastating experience. But you've got to wait for all the dominoes to fall until you understand quite how devastating and how much this has changed. And bear in mind, I am not feeling bad about this change, because you are profiting. Profiting is probably the wrong word, but you are coming out of it quite nicely. You are coming out of this in a better place. But yes, he was struck blind, and that there is the danger of not having your eyes open. So do not be so busy you are helping others and doing your good deeds and forging ahead with your own plans that you cannot pay attention to all the world that is around you. Now, we have also the god that is supporting you here, Helios. So, firstly, Helios is the sun. And as you know, I'll call the sun my happy, happy, joy, joy card. Helios is an incredibly honourable being. But Helios has been known to make a mistake and learn from it. But Helios here is bringing light. It's bringing... I don't quite want to say sunshine is the best disinfectant, but there is that element of revelation with Helios. And there's also the fact that he is an ancient power. He is one of the Titans. It was his was the sun chariot that he then gave to Apollo when Apollo became the god of the sun. So there's Helios is a phenomenal power to be having on your side. But interestingly and disappointingly to me, the archontic mask god force that is trying to suppress you is Yemaya with hope. And this is why I'm wanting to say, be very, very careful that you are keeping your eyes open. And yeah, you want to be working on some plans, but not all of your plans are going to come to fruition. You end up in a better place anyway, because we have the Chariot here clarified by Six of Swords, among other cards that fell out at the very end. So you are moving on at the end of this process to somewhere that's far better, where you are nurtured or can nurture, where you are recognized, even though it's a bit of a balance to achieve this journey. And there's, you know, there's some conflicting priorities here. But that's at the end of the reading. But Yemaya with hope is also making me, the reason it's disappointing for me is because Yemaya is one of the deities I always invoke prior to filming. But this is not Yemaya herself. This is the archontic mask that looks like Yemaya, but is hiding the archons who are here to oppress us and feed off us and keep us in negative blah, 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 blah. You know, if you're watching a tarot reading, you know all the hippie philosophy that goes along with that, you know. And if you don't know what the archons are, then stick in control forces, astral reptilians, whatever. Ahrimanic forces. That's the new term that I learned the other day. Well, I said I learned it. I hadn't thought of it for years. You have to be aware of the environment as it's changing and pay so much close attention. Oh, that's what I could call the reading. Pay close attention. The sky is falling down. Because again, you don't know everything that's going on. And the fact is that gateways are opening for you and that you are being called to a new level of being, a new purpose in life, a new outlook on life, and certainly a new environment. Now, whether that means that your environment is physically relocating, so you're going somewhere new, or whether that means that your environment is changing so much, or the least physical aspect of that is that you are changing so much that your environment is completely different because you're looking at it through different eyes. But there's no hanged man around here, so I'm not going to push on that one. But the Mists of Avalon, this is one of the Oracle decks that I'm learning. So let me read this one out. Now, I always bookmark these with one of my tarot decks. And for this, you've got the Ace of Swords, which is interesting because this talk about mists and what we was talking about with being blind to something is countered with the Ace of Swords, the clarity that comes from the Ace of Swords. So, be awakened to the call of destiny. You are enchanted with the potential of what your life could look like with a renewed appreciation of life. Listen to your inner voice. You have the magic inside you to manifest joy, success, and satisfaction. Now, it says the card of the Mist of Avalon appears when you are ready for the enchantment to begin. Mist is an element combining air and water that gives cover and creates the desired illusion. The story of Excalibur is entwined with mist. Arthur was taken away on a barge by the priestesses in a mist, hidden from his enemies who would follow him and taken to a special place in Otherworld. Are you struggling to see clearly what's ahead of you? You are already creating a new direction in your life, only the end point is not yet visible. There's something that you cannot see. And there is definitely a new end point with this Chariot, Six of Swords. Your otherworldly vision of what is possible to create for yourself is only limited by your own fears and old belief systems. What was I saying about the fledgling? You don't yet know the new rules. So that's why you've got to keep your eyes open to see these new rules. Trust in the lady and the magic of Avalon to keep you safe. Take a leap of faith into the enchanted world that is unknown. When the Lady of Avalon parts the mists, she creates an enchantment to protect the hidden realms of the Sacred Isle. The card of the Mist of Avalon asks that you undertake a journey of self-discovery. Make choices only because it is your will to do so, and not because you want to create an illusion of success and happiness for the approval of others. Put your faith in invisible forces that require only your willingness to be open-minded and to trust. The card of the Mist of Avalon requires for you to cut through the mist and see the reality and consequences of all your choices and actions. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's enough of that. So there is a wonderful new opportunity coming up here, one which you cannot resist. Now this brings me on to the second wave of cards. Now, Matariel from the Angelarium, the Angel of Rain, her power cannot be resisted. Full stop. She is the rain that comes down from the sky. You don't shelter from the sky. You may shelter from the rain, but the water will get in. You know, the water will be there. There is, where is it? I always like to read this one out because this is a deck I do know, but they say it so beautifully in here. Matariel's touch is felt, seen and heard. Its presence is heavy, filling the air, saturating the ground. Matariel is heralded by thunder clapping through the sky, signalling change and shift. There is a great migration coming and it arcs like lightning. The potentiality from one body is moving to another, a precarious transference, a swift communion like the arrow taking its target. Awareness, there's a theme here, eh, is paramount for the journey. Don't try to create an outcome for your future. Being the moment, let the rain fall where it may. And for that, we got the Two of Swords again. So this is what brings me back with that Two of Swords, is this illusion of hope that is a distraction. It's almost like, although the spring and autumn card is about sowing or reaping your harvest, I think it's more about sowing than it is about reaping, but it's about sowing with an awareness of the environment around you, because you yourself are safe. I mean, you may change outer-wise, but that essential inner you bit is not going to change. Apart from, it may well expand and breathe more easily at the end of this process, because we have the Angel of Being. My soul rests in the truth that my being is eternal. So you are safe during this process, as long as you are being very, very aware of your environment. As I say, you need to be doing some good deeds that will come obvious to you. You know, whether you are helping somebody, whether this is self-examination, whether this is working for a charity. Do you know what I mean? There's you already define by your own moral judgments what a good deed is. We'll go and get on with one of them, because there is a burden that is coming on for you with this Ten of Wands, but it's a Ten of Moths, sorry. Well, wands, moths, yeah. But it is enabling you to level up. I didn't even notice the Page of Pentacles was there when I was talking about that fledgling card. It is something that will level up. So again, you're going into this new realm. Now, Matariel, the Angel of Rain. I want to get into the I Ching. Now, if you watch the shuffle video, the inset that was up there earlier when I was doing the quick intro, then you notice that 2 cards from the I Ching came out. And so this also means that we have changing lines. One, in fact, they are all, how bizarre, they are all changing lines, which puts emphasis on this first card. So from the basic I Ching book that I have, this is card number hexagram number 32. This is thunder above and wind below. Thunder and wind cannot be controlled or contained. To avoid them, one must seek shelter, yet the wind and thunder continue until their natural duration is complete. There's no point trying to stop the wind or quell the thunder. The wise person observes the cycles of nature and adapts to survive them. Cycles. This that's happening, it's about time. You know, well, never mind, it's about time. It is time, you know, but there's, I really do want to say it's about time as well. Strength card, you have the strength to weather your way through this. But when we look at the fact that they are all changing lines between the two hexagrams, this is the Celestial Dragon I Ching, which talks about the... Now, they call this card the Marathon. A long distance runner, that's you. Be prepared to embark on a task of epic proportions. The marathon is a time to focus upon a long-term goal, employing the virtue of consistency. It is good to choose a goal or destination and begin trudging forward one step at a time. Always confident that we will achieve our desire. This is a time of balance and diligent work. Now, they're all changing lines. So there are the warnings from here is get yourself into the right position. The world is helping doing that anyway, but again, keep your awareness around you. And bear in mind that you've got a long journey to go here. So, you know, when I said do good deeds, but do them gently, do them slowly, that's fine. Pace yourself. You've got you've got the burden here with the 10 of moths, and that's what the second changing line here is saying. And just be aware of your choices. This is why you must keep your eyes open and be working towards those good deeds. Now, there's certain things that you are going to try and fail within this process, but that's fine because that's a learning process. There's certainly not loads of things, you know, it's not like you're going to fail on the whole kit and caboodle. But with focused determination, with a little bit of wisdom, with certainly awareness of the environment, you will be fine. Just do not go too fast. You won't come in, with this being all changing lines, you won't come in first, but you won't come in last. Overall, it was a successful race. But the season has just begun and there's another race next week. Good work, keep moving forward. So, this is not the end of the story by a long chalk, and we have the Sun card for this. So what was I saying? Happy joy. You know, that this strikes me as a period of life that you are really going to have the ability to enjoy if you are looking at it right. If you are being possessive and resistant against change, not a chance. You're going to be miserable as sin. But if you're like, oh, good, let's see how things are different today, which is sometimes a hard attitude to keep up, you know, but hey, you know, let's see what we can achieve. Now, this all changes to hexagram number 3, which is water above and thunder below. So we've got the wind, we've got the thunder, and now we've got water above all of that, which to me is a disaster, but also showing the change is heralded by the wind. The change is announced by the thunder, and then the change happens as the rain falls, the water falls. thunder cannot support water. And Matariel's presence is heavy and you can feel her all over. So there is change coming. And it's basically how you react to this that is the important thing. Thunderclouds release rain that ease the tension caused by chaos and confusion. As a new undertaking begins, it sometimes takes a release of pent-up stress to push on to the next step. Thunder can't hold water above it, the rain must fall. In the storm's aftermath, new clarity will emerge. And that is bookmarked by the King of Pentacles. So that is telling me that that new clarity, that is something where you can build something strong because you have shown your strength already. Remember the strength card did bookmarked one of the other cards earlier and I suddenly forget which one. So in the Celestial I Ching, the fury from above, this is called the storm. The clouds gather to spit forth thunder and rain. The wise man does not seek to attempt the mountain pass, but rather consolidates his present position and makes preparations for the storm's passing. He who attempts to walk directly into the storm shall find nothing but ruin. So remember what I was saying about do good deeds, but do them gently, do them slowly. Now, since they were all changing lines, I mean, they were changing lines to become, but I'm going to read out the changing line definition, which is riding the storm. The hunter jumps onto the back of danger and rides her to a new land and a fresh start. And what's exactly what was I saying here with the chariot and the... well, I say the chariot, it's called the flying machine in the Steampunk Tarot. Now, I'm sure there was something else that I wanted to refer to from St. Paul, who got the Two of Wands. So again, there's that thought of, especially on this Two of Wands, it's that thought of contemplation and planning and not quite moving forward yet, but with an eye to moving forward. Now, spiritually, St. Paul initiates spiritual awakenings and psychic experiences. He sends messages through vivid dreams, synchronistic conversations, psychic visions, and spontaneous spiritual claircognizance. He urges the importance of incorporating the spiritual into daily life through meditation, shamanic healing, and prayer. So he reminds us that we are all mirrors to one another, and what disturbs us emotionally about another is probably a reflection of ourselves in need of healing and release. Now, St. Paul represents the various aspects of ourselves within our psyche and emotional being, such as the spiritual seeker in search for answers to the unknown, and the wounded ego unleashed when triggered by situations, circumstances, and people seemingly separate from us. So, with all this change, maybe somebody is separating, but certainly, I've lost my page now. Certainly there's going to, it's all about attitude, this. All totally about attitude. So I've covered Helios, Yemaya, St. Paul, the I Ching, which I'll put back. But this is... of course. Now, I always like to ask this deck to be the challenge. But we have the Magician with Baphomet. So there is challenge in exhibiting your power right now. But I also get that you are coming into your power. But you are coming into your power at the end of this process, not at the beginning of it and not in the middle of it. Because there is a greater power than you with Matariel here, with the water above the thunder, above the wind. There's a greater power that will express itself first, whatever happens. But what is really interesting is out the spell cards I got you was Love Charm. Attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. So that doesn't seem to relate to any of these cards whatsoever. But however this storm this personal hurricane or cyclone that comes through and sweeps through your world, however it manifests. Might be somebody interesting that you meet during this period if you're single. Or it could also indicate that whole stepping up as you are, because say you are in your shell. I mean, I know you're Taurus, you're not a shell, and dragons don't have shells, but say this is a process of you coming out of your shell with accepting this 10 of moths. You know, it's a burden with wings, with that doing your good deeds, really expressing, surging forward, Knight of Bees, Knight of Swords here, surging forward and evolving, Knight to the Queen here, Temperance to the High Priestess, as you do more and more of what is feeling right and being led by your intuition. You are really coming into your own, really coming into your power, and that will get the attention or of somebody who you want to draw into your life. Or if you have a partner, they are going to see a whole new level to you and probably fall in love with you all over again, because this just, they may have seen glimmers of this before, but by the end of this row of cards here, you're cooking on gas. And King of Pentacles again, this time on the bottom of the deck, the second deck. What's on the bottom of the first deck? I'll try not to knock the candle over. High Priest, matching with the High Priestess. I really like that. The keys are opening to the new level if you are following your spirituality. Now, verse 81 from the Tao Te Ching. And I think this will sum up the, because I've been going quite some time, nearly half hour, well, over half hour. Verse 81, to not amass. Truthful words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not truthful. Good men do not argue. He who argues is not good. He who knows does not learn everything. He who learns everything does not know. The sage does not hoard. The more he does for others, the more he has. The more he gives to others, the greater his abundance. The Tao of heaven gives benefit but no harm. The Tao of the sage accomplishes good deeds but makes no claims. So, on the positive side, cataclysm, devastation, but you simply get on with it. Because you are a being of honour and you know how to dream the world better. So is there anything else? I think I've covered everything here. So if you want to let me know your rising or moon sign for a combination, because this video was done on request, comment down below, give me another request. Comment down below if this means anything to you, and please do press the like and subscribe buttons while you're passing. All right, have fun. I will see you next reading. Cheers.